Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Datu Tim, and this is Datu's Corner. I hope everyone's doing well today. Little crazy at the moment. Well, I'm always crazy. What should I say? Today, my brand new mats came in, so I'm excited about that. I already had mats, but I had another 17 of my Fuji mats come in to finish off the floor. And the next time I'm doing the show, I will do a nice little tour of the school. So good morning. Hey, Java Man, otherwise known as Chris. Can someone, okay, I've been having a little problems with my audio. Can someone give me a shout out and let me know if you can hear me properly? I'm just trying to, I literally did. Oh my God, it was crazy. Quarter to the show, I've got everything set up, or I think I do, and lo and behold, the truck delivering my mats shows up. Yay! So I might be a little out of breath. I loaded them myself. I mean, he pulled them off the pallet. I don't want to sit there and say I unloaded all the mats myself, but I had 17 mats, which I gotta say, judo mats have a little weight to them. I put one where it belongs, and the rest I just got in the school because I knew I had this podcast coming up. So please give me a shout out if you can hear. And I turned the AC up because it is a hot one here today. Oh my goodness. So how's everyone weekend? Did everyone have a good time? I know. Hey, I had a great time with Chris, who's Mr. Java Man 2022. My boy Chris and I were running a ring together. We had Mr. Ben with us. We actually had a blast. I think our ring ran very well. It was Mr. Ben's. You're good. Can hear you well. Thank you, Paulo Rubio. Thanks for popping in. All right. So next week when we're here, I'm going to do a little video tour of the school just to give everybody. I'll show you what I've been working on, all the projects. And we went to a tournament this weekend. We competed stick fighting, forms, and weapons. So it was really cool. So I just want to congratulate this generation of Datu's tribe, my competition team. Miss Shaya got first in weapons, stick sparring, and second in forms. Miss Alana, first in weapons, first in forms, second in stick sparring, and she fought up a group. Grayson got first in everything, weapons, stick fighting, and forms. Ryan, first in weapons, stick fighting, and forms. Ricky got second in forms and second in stick sparring. Josh, first in weapons, second in forms. Landry, third in sparring, third in forms. Congratulations, everybody. I don't think they really listen to this podcast, but just in case they do, or the parents do, I'm really proud of them. And I'm glad to get back doing tournaments. Oh my God. I mean, it's a step closer to normality. The host, Mr. Guida, ran a good thing, a good show there. And, looking forward to another one. My next tournament is going to be October 30th. It'll be a spectacular tournament. So today's topic is blades being used as impact tools. Now, what in God's name do I mean by that? So I've heard a whole bunch of times where people talk about using a knife as a pocket stick. So let's say I'm going to use, this is my Emerson trainer, wave option, gets on the clothing and opens up. But let's say I use this in a closed scenario as an impact tool. Now, real quick, how many people out there have done similar things or have trained to do things of that nature? Anybody out there? It's a little slow today. I think everyone's enjoying the weather out there. Okay, so we'll go forward. So this topic is, I've got mixed feelings or mixed views. I don't want to say mixed feelings. I know what my feelings are. They're not mixed. They're very upfront about it. I think it is a good and bad thing all at the same time. So what I want to talk about is when we do this, how are we coming about this? So right off the bat, let's get into it. So I've seen articles back in the 80s in Black Belt magazine that are showing people using a closed knife as a pocket stick. Now, I think there's scenarios where that has some merit to it. But I also think it is a legal nightmare or possibility of a safety issue for yourself. So, I mean, this is a knife. Well, okay, this is a training knife. Hold on. Now, this is a knife, mate. This is what I carry. Paul's got one of these. So this is a Columbia River knife. It's a CK folder. It is the Casper Kershaw option. I don't think they really make these anymore. Actually, no, they don't. I hope they make these again. I love this knife. Now, as you can see on my blade is a little dirty because I use this on a day-to-day basis. The States were a knife culture. I mean, Boy Scouts the Scouts have knives. Everyone has knives to work on things. Now, I don't use this knife as a fighting weapon. I have this knife as a day-to-day tool. My everyday carry for a tool is a tool, but my everyday carry as a weapon, if that's what I had to use, is this. I don't have this with me everywhere I go. Prior to COVID, I was doing seminars 35 weekends of the year or martial art events, and a lot of them I had to fly to. So there's plenty of opportunities where I was disarmed. Now, I did have optional things on me. I had which I love, my Pelican Flashlight. This is what I carry all the time, Pelican. And then this is a Smith & Wesson tactical pen. I don't like it because it doesn't shoot. If it's a Smith & Wesson, it shouldn't shoot. But this is a metal barrel pen. And I have it because I like it. But then again, so is this a metal barrel pen. This is Horizon Martial Arts. I guess the reason why I don't carry this is it has my school name on there. And if I ever had to use this, I wouldn't want to give my address. Oh, yeah. Yep. Chris knows that pen well. He also knows the knife. Saw it this weekend at the tournament. These are all in the mindset of dulos, pocket sticks, or Kubotans. We have a whole bunch of variety of tools that we can use as impact tools or force multipliers. Morning, Mr. Jeff. Thanks for joining us. So, but what can we run into if I use this as a force multiplier? What kind of issues could I have with this? Well, let's find out. This looks like a weird thing here. This happens to be, it's a knife. This might be a ballet song. Actually, it is from the Philippines. And it is very stiff because this is one that I have, could be for sale, that hasn't been broken in. I've got a few of these things. Now, a lot of people say, hey, look, you can use this as a dulo. So whom has been briefed or trained to use these as impact tools, as pocket sticks? Anybody out there? And as people go, this is the one I really carry all over the place. I like the Pelican Flashlight because it comes in multiple colors. Okay. And it is not a tactical flashlight. So for those who aren't familiar with Pelican is a case company for cameras, video equipment of that nature, lights. This does burn through batteries fairly quickly. It's AAA, so it's not a special battery. Puts out a lot of light. And I like it because it doesn't have the DNA collectors, because it's not a tactical flashlight. I really don't want to carry tactical things on me, because you might run into the issue of, well, why are you carrying a tactical X, Y, or Z? That must mean you had the intent to use it. Because sooner or later, I mean, obviously I protect my life and the people around me. I'll deal with legal repercussions later. But when I plan for things, I want to make sure that my ducks are in a row ahead of time. That's why I don't carry a karambit. I think karambits are cool. I had my first karambit before it was hip to carry karambits. Chris Cutlery back in the 90s. And then eventually they started making folding karambits. The problem with a karambit, when you look at that and someone shows it to you, It's an evil looking blade. And I think it's a great tool. I'm not a big fan of it as an actual everyday carry for multiple reasons. Personally, I like having a knife. I like it in the front grip. So this is my front grip. This is the back grip. That's the language we use. Pakal and suck you can go with. I don't use that. We're in the States. I keep it real simple. This is my front grip because it comes out the front of my hand. This is the back grip because of the back. Now, I like back grip for concealment, so I can hide the blade if need be. I like front grip for optimal range. That's the two things I go with here. Okay, so no one answered my question, so I'm just going to go forward with this. And I don't know if there's a delay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up another window to make sure this is actually transmitting. If you are watching this on YouTube, please, if you can give me a thumbs up, a like, a subscription, that helps out a lot. Anywhere you see this, but by all means, if you're doing it over there, hold on here. I have to put this on mute because that's what I got to do, and put it back on play. Okay, good. So I can see some things that are going on over there. It is transmitting, so that's what I want to make sure. So let's get into this. So, what are the advantages of using a knife as a pocket stick? Okay, so my viewpoint in general is when I choose to use this as an impact tool, I would have to be prepared to use it prior to that way in that context. What the hell am I talking about? I'm in a situation, there may be multiple opponents. Okay, case in point. I was with Janice in Atlantic City for a martial art convention, and Atlantic City is just like Vegas, okay? Except it was January and it was cold as all hell. But the thing here in this, how's it just like Vegas? You're on the main street, you're safe. There's another main street, you're safe. There's a side road in between, very sketchy. I'm not saying it wasn't safe, but our guards went up. It was like, holy cow. And at the event, someone was selling knives, and I bought a knife. Go figure. And Janice goes, do you have a knife on you? I go, yeah, I got one in each hand. They were both closed. They're in my coat pocket. We're in the middle of Atlantic City in January, freezing my bum off. Okay. Now, if something happened, I could go impact tool, and it was at night, so they probably wouldn't see what was in my hand. So in the case where you are prepared ahead of time, you're in a scenario like we were walking in the streets of Atlantic City on a road that made us feel very, that brought our levels of awareness up. I didn't feel in danger, but I definitely had to pop up my level of awareness. So I had things in my hand. My hands could come out. I can go into impact position here and go from there. But because it was protecting Janice and myself, I would have been prepared to go out. Now, once I go here, it's lethal. There's no coming back from that. Now, my mindset would be as long as I can disguise it or hide the blade, I don't have a problem using a knife as an impact tool if you're looking for that extra, I hate saying the word, that extra edge, pun intended. But the thing here is, if I do that, I've implemented a lethal weapon into the encounter. Okay. So as much as I might be defending myself, I've just raised the ante. Now, I said, generally, I don't, my mindset is this. If I'm going for a knife, I'm going to have it out. I'm trying to deploy the blade. If I go to deploy the blade and I can't because the person's too close, I go impact until I can get into where I can deploy the edge weapon. Now, my go-to is not my blade. My go-to are my hands, my elbows, my knees. I go to natural weapons. I do not use. I don't want to reach. I don't think every situation should end up drawing for a knife or a firearm. I mean, that's bullshit. I'm channeling my master, my inner master Ken. We should, if we're training martial arts, we should be training open hand combatives to take care of situations. I mean, if someone tries to mug the two of us, that's one thing. If someone, a few months ago, Janice and I were victims of a road rage scenario where a guy, or I was targeted because they thought I was police. I did a broadcast on this. I was driving up to the Niagara outlet. A guy was riding my butt on a road that was 40 miles an hour, and there was cars in front of us. There was double lines. We were heading up to the mall, which is the Niagara Factory Outlet or Niagara Fashion Outlet. And I just made a comment there, man, this guy's riding up my butt. Now, I couldn't go and anyone who drives with me knows I don't like driving slow. I'm a speed limit or maybe 5 or 10 over. But you won't, maybe. If you're in Canada, you're going like 20 over, but that's another story. If you drive on the QEW, it's the Canadian raceway up there. Just if you go the speed limit, you become a speed bump. That's how crazy the drivers up there. Am I lying about that, Paulo? Or are they pretty aggressive on the QEW and every other highway up there? The problem is they got all these 401s and 40 this and 40 that, and it sounds like a raceway, so they keep going. There we go. I don't make this crap up. He knows what I'm talking about. Actually, that's probably why I don't get. It's probably why I don't get intimidated driving because Buffalo. For those who don't know, Buffalo is literally on the border to Canada, and I'm on the first ring of suburbs. Like I'm in West Seneca, which borders South Buffalo. And I can be in Canada when the borders open, whenever that happens. I can be in there in 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how traffic is, And the QEW just shoots up right from the Peace Bridge all the way up to Brampton. Then it splits and it goes 40 something or another to the QE and the Gardner and goes right into downtown Toronto. And man. I actually got in a car accident up there once. I got rear-ended by an American. Bastards. I hate Americans. Oh, wait. I am one. So it's definitely a harrowing experience. But going through all that stuff up there, driving it pretty much anywhere in the States and Canada, I'm not worried about it. Because if you can drive in Toronto, you can drive pretty much anywhere in North America. But getting back to this, my mindset is that I want to go hands-on. But this guy was following us, riding up our butt. And... he starts beeping at me, and I start tapping the brakes to, get a little space because I'm about to turn into the mall. And I turn into the mall, and he follows me in. So I go to a parking spot that I was going to go to. I get out of the car to put me in between him and me. They stop in the road, and words happen and all this other stuff. I had my blade on me. I made sure it was tucked in tight so it didn't fly out if it had to go. Guy got out of the car, went to the front of the car, made some racial comments towards me, told me he didn't care that I was called me a cracker, which I really am like, dude, I mean, at least a Triscuit, I just don't know how cracker ends up or cue ball or honky really ends up insulting me. But, if that's what you got, that's what you got. Made some comments and got back in his car. And I did the smart thing, called the police, pulled out an incident report. The mall is an hour round trip, the Niagara outlet. Fashion outlet. Janice and I were going to the mall. We were going to the mall. If it was the local mall by my house, I would have went elsewhere. I would just, after the encounter. But I called the police for an incident report in case things escalated inside the mall. Police came, had ID, all this other stuff. Said done. But I was ready to go. But I wasn't ready to pull my knife out and stab this guy. The guy was younger than me. Okay, the guy was in better shape than I was. I had the COVID-20. But I had the COVID-20 long before COVID, so I really can't blame it on that. But if this guy came any closer, I would have gone hands-on. I would have smothered him, got in close. This is what I practice in the club all the time. Bridge the gap, get a hold of him, twist something until something snaps or someone taps. That's my mindset. I wouldn't have thought about going for my blade because I don't feel that it was a lethal scenario. Now, if there's multiple opponents, he had a girlfriend in the car. If she decided to hop out and engage, if she came out unarmed, I wouldn't really have been concerned about that. If she came out armed, that'd have been another story. But here's where I have the problem with the people in the martial art world, Filipino martial art world, using blades as impact tools. If I reach for my knife versus having it out already in my hand covertly, if I'm reaching for this weapon, I have just instituted a lethal tool. No one knows if this is going to be used open or closed. We as martial artists know that. Hell, I can implement this in there. No one would know. I've seen sharp knives. Here we go. Used to carry a roll of quarters. There's a good force multiplier. But I wouldn't reach for a roll of quarters. I mean, that's $10 if it breaks. I don't want to lose $10. I'm a cheap bastard. I've seen sharp knives with holes in them. A lot of the Pakistani style blades that you pick up at the flea markets will have that. We've seen firearms. I was up in a gun show in Toronto last year, or near the airport, and somebody had a shotgun done up like a Nerf gun, and I was amazed and creeped out all at the same time. I looked at it like, wow, that's an amazing feat of artwork, and I appreciate that as craftsmanship, but doing that makes people unsafe in the street. And recently, in the last 3 months, there's a news article that someone else had an assault weapon that was made to look like a Nerf gun, so people would not think about taking that tool. And I mean, there's some issues I have with this, but once I implement this, not this, but like, let's go back. Once if I'm in an encounter and I reach for a knife, no one knows whether I'm going to open it or not open it. Secondly, this is a sharp killing tool. This is not an impact tool. You don't use a blade for subduing people. Use a blade to kill people. This is why I don't teach blade work right away. I vet people. I like using blade work to teach open hand combatives. I don't like teaching knife fighting per se. I do have some blade programs, and a lot of them are defense, and you need to know how these work first offensively before you go defense. But the thing here is reaching for this escalates the use of force of everyone around you. Let's flip it out. Let's do it this way. So let's say I'm armed. We're gonna do a review on this. This is the T4E training pistol. This is a Walther PPQ, which is really cool. It acts just like a firearm. All right. The cool thing is it's gas operated, like an airsoft, like some airsofts. Okay, locks out because there's no round in here. The cool thing about the marker will use paint, chalk, or rubber rounds. I like using the rubber rounds for target practice in my school, so I don't have to make a mess because paint just sucks, and chalk gums stuff up. So I will be doing something on this weapon down the road. Now, here's the problem. In my opinion, and that's just all it is. And you know what? I got to say something. I do like the people that tune in because we don't agree on everything. But the cool thing is I feel that if we all sat down and hung out and debated, at the end we'd be able to go out for food and drinks afterwards and have a good time. That's why I like this channel. I've gotten some post-show comments about that. And I really appreciate the openness of everyone here saying, hey, listen, I don't agree with what you're saying, but it's a good topic. Let's, like when I talked about the black belt thing, in Modern East, there was expiration dates. We have since amended how we do things. We still haven't related, but we've extended the dates for that, and we will be instituting an instructor certificates by the end of the year. So I wasn't planning on doing this, but now I am. And that's based on the conversations I had with all of you guys out there. Now, I use this. I pull the firearm out, and I have the mindset to use this as an impact weapon. Now, when I'm an adjunct instructor with Sheepdog Combatives, I teach at the Virginia Police Academy. We teach the Virginia Police Academy, and we've done some force-on-force scenarios, and we've used these. And when there's been a weapons, we can simulate a weapon failure. We can also force an early reload. And we've made a point to listen, your weapon jams, someone bridges the gap, or you run out of ammo, and you could be completely and not even have this. You've got a hunk of metal in your hand. Use this as an impact tool. Okay, if I have a magazine in my hand, I could use it as an impact tool. But I don't pull this out to use it. Once I pull this out, I've implemented a lethal weapon. So let's think about this. And this is my mindset. I pull this out and I pull this out. So we're in a situation and I pull a firearm out. And my mindset is to pistol whip people, use an impact trainer or impact force multiplier. Who here would be concerned that I would pull the trigger? Would any of you guys? I would love to hear from this. Especially if you don't know me. Some random person pulls out a firearm. What are you doing? And I know there's a delay. So personally, if I see a firearm, I'm looking for cover. And if I'm armed and this person I was in an encounter with pulled out a firearm, I'm probably looking to start to shoot back to protect me and the people in the area. Well, then how is that any different than someone pulling a knife out and deploying, if they deploy the blade, or just use this as an impact? I pull this out. It's too close for me to deploy. Or maybe the person hits a couple times. I don't know whether they're going to deploy the knife or not. If I can recognize it as a knife, I'll put this down. This really annoys me. I'm watching myself talking with my hands, and even though the second half is not attached, so will not fire, that's how people get hurt. So, like I said, if I use this as an impact tool, that's one thing. It's not a firearm. It's a magazine. Okay. If I use my flashlight, and I like the flashlight because I can blind people with this. I've got my pen. It could be any kind of pen. It could be the Dulos. A friend of mine, late Dan Carr, said, Sharpie marker or highlighter, that's a great thing because you can carry this everywhere through every metal detector. I've had people give me shit about the pen and the flashlight that I've carried on the airplane and up in Canada. And I was able to, they didn't confiscate, but they were getting ready to. But I've heard people talk about this very nonchalantly. I will just use the knife as a impact tool. But if I see you with a knife, if I see you with a knife in an encounter with me, I'm either deploying a knife or I'm picking some form of equalizer, because the way I look at it, you're armed, I'm not. And I don't like being and I hate the term equalizer. I don't want to be equal. I want to be above everybody. I want to be better armed. I want to be better trained. That's why I do martial arts. Well, actually, I do martial arts because it was cheaper than therapy. But I do martial arts because I enjoy martial arts. And, but I do like the idea, I have to fix this. I do like the idea of being able to defend myself in a real life situation. And I've been cut by machetes. I've been cut by a trench knife. And that's not me playing with the blade. Someone else had it in their hands. It's a real sharp blade as a bread knife. They're crazy sharp. They tear. That pissed me off. I've had a bunch of things happen in my life. Okay. And blade gets implemented into what's going on. And I'm concerned. I'm looking at the door. I'm trying to get out. I'm always looking at the door. I'm always trying to get out of the scenario, because at any moment someone could pull a firearm out, a blade or whatnot. But what say you? What do we think about drawing out a knife to use that as an impact tool in the midst of the fray? Anybody? No comments. Radio silence. We'll do this later. We'll do that later. The other thing, I guess either I've got a bad connection or nobody's listening to me at the moment. It says I got 8 or 9 people on, so I got a few thumbs up as well. But is what it is. Checking things here. All right. Well, little lack of interaction, so I'm going to move forward with it. The other thing is there are knives, multiple knives that are designed. Oh, hold on, the boss is calling here. One moment. Hey, the mats are here. Yeah, because that'd be great. Everybody, Janice says hello. She's going to help me with putting the mats up. I'm doing the broadcast right now. No problem. All right, see ya. Okay, so I always like to have some live stuff going on. Brandishing it would impose a threat. I've seen. I'd say, yep. I say no, yep. And Jeff Owen says hello again. Yeah, I mean, and there are multiple blades out there, multiple that are meant to be used closed. Okay. What is the one called? Let me see. I didn't get to do. I wish Paul Benjamin was on. Paul Benjamin, are you watching? He got this whole thing once before with a person, and there was a blade. There's two blades that were designed. They're very similar to each other. One has a convex ramp, the other has a concave ramp. They're both able to be used closed as an impact tool, but you're still putting a knife in the fray, and people aren't going to know what your intent is. It's not working at all. I'm trying to look something up. I had the honeydew list this weekend, so I didn't get to do my stuff. It was beautiful weather. So, yeah, I'm not gonna find it now because it's too short notice, and it's an older knife. So generally speaking, I do like how some of these knives have these ramps that open up and stuff like that. I think that's cool for deployment. So this is the Emerson Cqc7. It has the wave option, which is it's a little wave at the top of the blade. I used to carry. I used to sell. I used to distribute his knives. Very good. Unfortunately, they're very pricey, and there's There's always a back order trying to get them. So I went to other blades. Also, this was good, but it just really didn't fit my hand the way that my Columbia River does. And it's got two locks. It's got a liner lock, and it's got another lock over here that keeps things from folding onto my fingers, which is always good. So, but when I would pull this out of my pocket, I'd have to make sure when I grabbed it that the pants didn't hook on this. If my father was a state police officer, so I'm always thinking interaction with law enforcement, especially if we use this in a real life scenario. What's the repercussions afterwards? I don't want 30 seconds of my life to negatively affect the next 30 years of my life. So that being said, I would make sure that when I pulled it out, it didn't auto deploy and stuff like that, because not a good thing for law enforcement or anyone to see things of that nature. So that is that. Well, I'm glad Jeff is. I don't know if I've lost everybody. Jeff's here with me. The rest of the guys, I don't know what happened. You either fell asleep or I'm boring the hell out of you guys. I know it's a beautiful It is a beautiful Monday, and I also didn't put this up until last minute. I mean, I had the Facebook announcement on it, but I didn't have the rest of this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm looking for some questions. Anybody? If not, we're going to wrap this up a little earlier than normal. But I do want to talk about next week's show. Yep. Okay, I got it right here. I got a couple shows coming up I wanted to just throw out at people. Unless someone else has something they want to ask or contribute. You know, hey Paulo, what kind of regulations they have carrying knives up in Canada? That would be a good topic for like what down here. I'm in New York. I'm in the Empire or the Republic of New York. So a lot of things for us is about how it's deployed. Okay, the knife thing is taken too lightly, so talk away. Yeah, you don't want me talking away. One, I think in our industry, the Filipino martial art industry, we gravitate towards pulling a knife way too soon. Paulo made some comments the other day that a lot of people aren't working on deployment as much as they could or should. And I do agree with that 100%. But part of this is I'm not deploying my weapon unless I'm in that bad situation. So if someone attacks me, I don't go in and then pull a knife out and stab them. That's why I do open hand training. And not every situation merits a lethal response. Okay. So this is my mindset from there. So, all right. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to wrap things up a little early today because I have, like I said, for those who weren't here at the very beginning, I ended up having my mats come in for my school. I had 17 more of those Fuji tatami mats come in, so I'll be next week. I'll do a short little tour of my school. I'll video something for you guys. But what I want to do is share the next couple of weeks here of what we're doing. I will not be doing a FMA professional this weekend. We are going to a benefit seminar in Virginia. And I'll get back into Eric. I'll talk to you about it in just a minute here. So what I got coming up next week, do you pressure test your system with sparring? That'll be the question of the that's the theme of next week's. Let me see here. We already did that one. These are not in numerical order. I should have put this in alphanumerical order. So the next one, here we go, June 21st. This is a favorite of mine. Are the Filipino martial arts heading for extinction? Yeah, Mr. T-Rex is about to eat that dude up. So that is June 21st. I've got, and I don't think this is because of COVID. I think COVID may accelerate stuff. But my mindset is a little different. We'll talk about this. And then another fun one will be modern Arnis. Modern Arnis, the most misunderstood of the Filipino martial arts. And I think one of which it's misunderstood by the people who are training modern Arnis. But that's another topic. And then, that'll wrap up June. And then we'll start July 5th, unless I end up going away, is going to be Presas Arnis. What is it and why? So I'm going to shut down this window. And Eric, yes, I do offer beginner classes. Are you here in the Buffalo area? If not, we also have the virtual classes. So if anyone's interested in doing training, if you're in the Buffalo area, I'm here. If you're not in the Buffalo area, I'm still here. But what I also do, I do virtual. That's funny, Eric, because so are we. Do you know where we're in the Wimbledon Plaza. Now I got to look you up here. Not that I'm stalking you. No, I'm stalking you. Anytime I talk to someone on Facebook, I end up stalking them a little, just to see who this person is. Especially when if I'm selling stuff on Marketplace and stuff like that. I was like, well, who's this person who's going to pick stuff up? Do I need to, be prepared for X, Y, and Z? Well, that's hilarious. Yeah, we're right here in West Seneca, running a trial program right now. It's 8 weeks with the uniform for $149. Feel free to directly message me. I've got a bunch of pages we're streaming this on, so I don't know which one you're looking at. But yeah, by all means, I'm in the club right now putting stuff together. Okay, so those are the few things that we're doing right now. All right, I got it in that. I'll check that out later. My son plays football for West Seneca West. West I saw. I'll be in touch. Great. Yep. That's my old alma mater. I'm a West Seneca boy all my life. So, cool. All right. Those are the topics coming up. My position is on using a knife as a closed tool. If it's covert, you hit real quick as an equalizer. I have no problem with that. As long as it's prepped ahead of time. Like I said, Janice and I were in Atlantic City once, and we were in a situation, and if there's multiple opponents, pop, 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 and if I would have needed to, I could have deployed. But I don't like reaching for a blade in the middle of combat, because once I do that, whether my intent is to open it up or not, the person in front of me doesn't know that. And more importantly, I don't know if the person in front of me, if they're doing the same thing, I don't know what their intent is. So it's all about intent when it comes to me. So, it's so I'm going to wrap things up here. So, but if you do, feel free to like and subscribe and share this wherever you feel is appropriate. If you haven't already, please go over to the YouTube channel and do the same. I really, it helps out. Like, same thing. Like if you're watching Paulo shows, do the same. Help out the people, support the content out there. We'll be getting more stuff going on. Like I said, next week will be about next week is about sparring and pressure testing what you do. All right. Well, listen, as always, everybody, please stay safe and stay sane. And this is Datu Hartman saying thank you for tuning in to Datu's Corner, and we'll see you soon.